Hello, happy. Right in the middle of a live, I get a phone call from some place I've never even heard of. Oh, anyway, the lighting's really weird in here right now. I was gonna do this outside, but the wind, oh my goodness, the wind. It's ridiculous. So I'm back here in the usual spot, not out in the warm sunshine because of the wind. I hope that you guys are having a good Thursday. If you are watching, go ahead and put live in the comments so I can say hey to you and I know who I'm talking to. If you're catching this on replay, type replay or R in the comments. Whoa, look at that hair. That's crazy. So for any of you who live on the Eastern Shore, you know that there's currently tornado winds. It's the one thing I hate about the Eastern Shore. I hate the wind. Now, mind you, when it's 98 degrees and the humidity is like 99%, I love the breeze. But any other time, I hate it. And I asked Henry, I was like, how do we get away from the wind? And he's like, we move. But I'm a homebody, so I'm not moving. But, yeah, so I just got back from a walk with Henry, the baby, and I was pushing him on the stroller. And I'm telling you, like, I was pushing, and I felt like I was going nowhere because the wind was blowing straight back, and I had the blind down, so like the wind was pushing it and it was blowing up, and I was literally like, guys, I was hanging on to the thing and my legs lifted up and I was like, whoo, that's what it felt like. It was crazy. So the wind is killing me right now. All right, that's not what I got on here to talk about. I got on here to talk about God, and I'm not going to preach to you, but I'm definitely going to drop some truth in here. So give me some praise hands if you're ready for that, because, give me some praise hands if you're ready for that, because, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm talking about God, and I titled this, Yo God, You There, because sometimes that's how I feel. So if you're here and you're catching this live, type live, and if you're gonna see this later and you're catching it on replay, type replay. And if you know someone who asks, Yo God, you there? Share this with them or tag them in this or something, because this is going to be good. So for those of you who don't know me, I am a very, not to toot my own horn, but consider myself a very kind, caring, giving person. If it were not publicly inappropriate, I would give you this shirt right here, right now. Because it's just how I am. I want to help other people. I want to be there for other people. And I've been that way my whole life, as far as I can remember. And I always have felt good about it when after I help somebody, it makes me feel good, which is why I think I do it. But I started to have other feelings with it. Feelings of like, shoo, I'm doing a lot for this person, or I feel like I'm giving more than I'm getting, which is okay. We're called to serve, and sometimes that's part of it. Put a 1 in the comments if you've ever been there. If you have just given so much of yourself that you start to feel like, like, what am I getting back in return? Not that that's what it's about, but so for the longest time, I just kind of dealt with this, and I didn't really understand it. I recognized it, but I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was, and it wasn't until, honestly, that I got married, and Henry and I have an amazing marriage. I pray for all of you that you even have half of the relationship that we have, because when people say like we were made for each other, literally, I have his rib, and if you don't know what that means, you need to read your Bible. We were made for one another, and we just have the deepest conversations. We have the deepest connection, and I can talk to him about anything, and he is wise beyond his years. He is a bit old, but he's just wise beyond his years. I mean, he has such good thoughts, and it's backed biblically. It's backed by, educationally, things that he's read. Put a 2 in the comments if you have somebody in your life like that you just know you can go to them and you can talk to them And you know you're going to get sound information, because that's how I feel about Henry, and that's my husband. So, I mean, that's great in my opinion. So, I started to talk to him about this, and I think he really brought it to my attention, because I give and give and give, and I put a lot of time and effort into other people, and there are times when it's taken advantage of, and I'm taken advantage of, and I hate this word, but I feel used. And part of that is my fault, because I haven't set boundaries and I've let that happen. Put a 3 in the comments if that's you, if you know that something is happening because of you not setting boundaries, because that's me. So, a lot of the people in my life that I feel this way about are very close people to me. And again, it's of no fault of theirs. It's me, because I haven't set these boundaries. But I feel like, I am sometimes too caring. I'm sometimes too kind, to the point where, I said I'd give you the shirt off my back. I would give you my entire outfit, and I would be standing there butt naked, or is it buck naked? Put it in the comments. Is it butt naked? Like, that makes more sense, but I feel like buck naked is what I've heard. Maybe it's that Eastern Shore accent. It's buck naked. Anyway, put that in the comments, because I don't really know. Butt or buck? But anyway, I would be, completely naked, because I would give you all that I have. And while that's a good thing, while God, calls us to do that, Jesus did that, you have to have boundaries also. And that's something that Henry really brought to my attention. He says, you can give and give and give, but you can't allow people to use you, and you can't allow people to take advantage of you. And I found that that's what I was doing. I found that I was allowing people to use me because I wouldn't say no, or I wouldn't say, I can't. I would very politely say, sure, even though if I knew it would change my entire day, it would change my entire schedule. If I had to go out of my way, I would do it. And, that was just the type of person that I am. And I felt so much guilt if I said no. And I've struggled with that for a really, really long time. I struggle with it daily. And, after talking with Henry about it, I started to pray about it, really, really pray about it. And, God, my prayer was often, God, allow me to be more stern with my time and my feelings. Let me say no. Don't allow me to let people walk all over me. Don't allow me to let people use me. And I've always been told that God has 3 responses: a yes, a no, and a not right now. So I've been praying this prayer, God, please let me put an end to it. Don't allow me to continue to let people use me. And I felt like forever, I'm like, God, are you even here? Like, I'm not hearing a yes, I'm not hearing a no, and I'm not hearing a not right now. And I'm like, hello, like, I'm praying to you. Where are you at, bro? Like, put a 4 in the comments if you've been there. If you have been in a situation where you're praying and you're praying consistently and you're in the Word and you're reading, but you're not hearing an answer from God. Because that's me. Like, I am deep in that. I'm not hearing a yes, I will make sure that people stop using you. And I'm not hearing a no, this is what you were called to do. And I wasn't hearing a, I'll take care of it later. And that really, frustrated me, because here I am, like, pouring my heart out to God, and I don't hear anything. And I'm reading the scripture, and I'm waiting for, like, the sign, and I'm waiting for the, the skies to part and the angels to start singing and the sun to start shining down, and I don't hear it. And it's really been happening a lot at my work, where I just feel like sometimes I'm not mean enough, in the sense that, not that I'm a mean person, but in the sense that I'm not stern enough when people say, hey, do you mind doing this? I say, sure, no problem. I'll take care of it. Or when somebody says, hey, I don't really know what to do here. Can you take care of it? I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'll do it. And then I find myself exhausted and I find myself frustrated because I'm like, why do I do all this? Like, why am I the only one doing anything? Because that's what it feels like to me because I'm taking on so much. Put a 5 in the comments if you've been there, if you know what I'm talking about, if you just keep taking on responsibilities because you're afraid to say no, or you feel guilty, or you feel like that person or your boss or your husband or your wife or your children, they're going to, think a certain way about you, or they're going to be mad at you, or they're going to be disappointed in you because you say no. That's me. That's where I've been. That's where I'm at currently. And it has been building all year long, all school year long, all year. Just like anytime somebody asks me to do something, I'm like, sure, no problem. But then at the end of the day, I'm just exhausted because I feel like I've done so much, and I feel frustration because I feel like other people aren't doing things that they should be doing. I feel some kind of way about it. I don't like to be upset and to feel angry towards someone. And, here I am reaching out to God. I'm like, yo, God, are you there? Because I've been praying this prayer. Please allow me to be more stern in what I allow people to have me do and allow me to set boundaries. And I hear nothing. Nada. Zilch. I don't hear yes. I don't hear no. I don't hear not right now. And what I'm realizing is God doesn't just have 3 answers. God has way more, way more. But the answer that he's giving me right now is, yes, daughter, I'm going to provide you with opportunities to learn this. I'm going to provide you with opportunities to practice this. I'm going to provide you with opportunities to trust me, to say no, to say I can't do it, and allow me, God, to take on whatever guilt, whatever anger, whatever frustration that you feel and the other person feels. And coming to this revelation, I'm like, oh God, God's been there the whole time. Like, I've been the one that's not been there. I've not been present. I've not realized that God's not giving me a yes, because if he just gave me a yes, would I grow? No. God's not giving me a no because he's not that kind of God. And this isn't a situation where it's a no for me. And it's not even a not right now. It's a, hey, I'm dropping opportunity after opportunity in your lap to practice what you're asking me, to practice putting boundaries up, to practice telling people no and being okay with it, trusting that God's going to take care of the situation. And it's a good feeling, because I think about what kind of people would we be? What kind of person would I be if God just said yes? If I prayed to God and I said, Lord, I am being taken advantage of. I'm letting it happen. I need you to stop it. And just like that, done. What would I gain from that? Would I grow? Would I have a relationship with God that's as deep because I wouldn't keep coming back to him? Would I be digging into the word to find answers? No. I would use God as like the Wizard of Oz, where I just get my wishes, they're granted, and I'm done with him. And it's amazing because it's very hard to think of God as another person. Put a 5 we're on 6. Put a 6 in the comments if you struggle with that. All my life I've been taught that pretend that God's right there with you. Pretend like he's, sitting right next to you. Well, I have a great imagination, but I have really struggled with that. And, you're supposed to have the same relationship with God that you do your best friend. You're supposed to call God every day and talk to him every day, constantly, like you would your best friend, like you would your husband, like you would your wife. And I think if God were to just tell me yes or tell me no, that I wouldn't have the relationship that I have with him. And I wouldn't be such a child of God because I would take him for granted. Yes, the first couple of times I might proclaim it as a miracle. I might, say, "Oh my gosh, I prayed to God and it happened immediately," and it would be wonderful. But I think the novelty of that would wear off. And I think if God were a God that just said no to everything, obviously we know what kind of relationship we would have. We would just be done. We wouldn't be believers. And I never really one that prayed or even believed until I was pregnant with my 1-year-old. Sorry, I'm trying to read your comment, Laura. And you told me not to set the birth appointment. Oh my gosh, yes, that's a testimony right there. I love that you put that. Because God does speak to us, and it's not always in the loud and the clear. It's sometimes in a whisper. It's sometimes in another person. It's sometimes, Laura, I'm about to cry, girl. It's sometimes in something that you read, and it's okay. But if God were to just tell us no, we wouldn't be believers, So I think that God putting this in these situations to give us practice for the things that we want is his way of answering our prayers. I am going to become better at telling people I can't do things, and I'm going to feel less guilty every time because God's providing me the opportunities to do this. I remember when I had just had Henry and he was maybe 2 days old. I was reading a book called Famous in Heaven and at Home, and I don't remember the author, but I'll drop it in the comments after. And something in that book spoke to me so clearly. It said, you are going to do 2 things in your life after you have a baby. You are going to pray harder than you've ever prayed, more than you've ever prayed, and you are going to sleep less than you've ever slept. And it's so true. And, sometimes it takes that. Like Laura, sometimes it takes a situation that God puts in our lives that we don't even know that God put there to have him reach out to us and to have him, to have us need him. And I don't know whether you're still a believer. I don't know if, God's shown up in other ways, but I find myself, the more I look for the ways God's showing up in not just the yeses and the nos and the not right nows, but in the everyday things, the more I see opportunities that God's presenting himself. When I'm frustrated and I say, Lord Jesus, give me patience, the kids at work start working my nerve. And I'm like, hey, God, you have a sense of humor because I prayed for patience and you're giving me opportunities to practice patience. You're not just saying, poof, you have patience. When I am saying, God, give me, an answer to this prayer, or sorry, my phone's going crazy with all kinds of, not announcements, but man, my phone's really messing up my preaching here. I just feel like when God gives us opportunities to grow, it's not just to grow personally. It's not just to grow as a person. It's to grow in a relationship with God. So if you are in a situation, or if you, feel like God's not listening to you, or if you feel like no one's listening to you, maybe take inventory of the situations that you're in. Maybe take a look around at the conversations that you're having, at the things that are happening in your life, and then see, is God saying yes? Is God saying no? Is God saying not right now? Or is God right there in the moment screaming in your face, here is what you've asked for. I'm delivering it in a way that you didn't ask for it, but in the way that you need. And I wonder if you won't have to say, yo, God, you there? Because you'll be able to feel God and see God, and it's going to be a better outcome because you're not going to just get all the yeses. You're not going to get just shut down no's, and you're not going to get hold on, hang out. Hey, Teeny, thanks for watching. So what type of situation have you been praying for? What type of things in your life have you been asking God to do or to show you? And is he really answering them with things in your life? And are you aware of that? Are you getting put in situations that are causing you to dig deeper, to read in the Word, to surround yourself with like-minded people, to pray even harder, to, listen to the gospel music? What is it that God is doing that's making you have a better relationship with him, but also answering your prayers? Because for me, right now in this season of my life, God's not telling me yes. He's not telling me no. He's not telling me I'll deal with it later. He's telling me, hey, open your eyes. I'm giving you plenty of opportunities to practice your prayer. I'm giving you plenty of opportunities to tell people no and not feel guilty about it. One of the things I've heard growing up so much is practice makes perfect. And then I've heard that's not true. Perfect practice makes perfect. So God's perfecting me by allowing me opportunities to practice. So I'm no longer saying, yo, God, you there, because I know he's here. I believe that. I have faith in that. And I'm opening my eyes to the opportunities and to the situations and to the problems in my life that are causing me to grow, that are causing me to pray, that are causing me to build relationships. And I'm very thankful for that. And I'm thankful that I've come to that realization, because it's a very defeating feeling when you're praying and praying and praying and praying and praying and you don't feel like you're getting an answer. And then you realize you've had the answer right there in front of you the whole time. So I'm done saying, yo, God, you there. And I'm saying, yo, God, I'm here. Like, I got you. We're on the same wavelength here. We're good, bro. So what's in your life that you're praying for, and what in your life is God providing that you're not seeing, that you're not opening your eyes to? Because that's what it comes down to. Are we really listening? Are we really aware in the moment? Because I wasn't, but I am now. And on a side note, I practiced this whole thing on the walk. I was going to go live while I was on the walk, but when I was going uphill in the wind, I was like, maybe this isn't the best time. And I was afraid that when I did this live, it wouldn't be as good, because I was so pumped and I was fired up and I knew what I was going to say. And as I was practicing it, it sounded so good. And in that moment, I stopped and I was like, you know what? I'm going to pray that God uses what he's given me to speak to somebody else, and to, have clear words and a clear mind and a clear heart and good intentions in this, because that's what I have. I hope that through this, one of you, someone, really doesn't question God, because we serve a good God, y'all. And he's there. He's there in the quiet. He's there in the loud. He's there in the good. He's there in the bad. And he wants a relationship with us. And he's going to do anything it takes to have a relationship with us. It's like that girlfriend or boyfriend back in middle school that you would do anything for. You would do anything to get their attention. I'm talking like stuff you would never do. Like, you would take dares. You would, wear high heels. You would wear cute clothes. Like, you wanted their attention. That's what God wants from us. He is screaming from the mountaintop. He is shouting. He is basically, waving flags in your face. He wants a relationship. He wants that from us. And one of the ways that he gets that from us, because God gets what he wants, y'all. Come on, he's God. He ain't playing. Is by giving us opportunities to reach out to him, giving us opportunities to grow, giving us opportunities to practice prayer. So I really hope that you take the time to look into your life and what God's doing for you and saying for you. And I hope that you can realize that God's there, and you don't have to say, yo, God, you there, because he's there, and he's present, and he wants you, and he wants me, and that relationship he will go the distance for. So I hope that you share this. If there's anybody in your life who's like, oh my goodness, I am just struggling with this and I've prayed about it and I'm not getting an answer, share this video with them, because maybe they are getting an answer, but they're just not seeing it. They're not taking the time to recognize the answer. And I am super excited to show you guys something tomorrow. I'm going to post something, so be on the lookout for that, because it's going to blow your mind, because it blew my mind. All right, guys, I hope you have a good Thursday night.